It's Dave and Graves once again. We are still talking about Chris Stapleton.
I mean, I've been talking about Chris Stapleton since, what, January?
Yeah, since January. That's right. It didn't take the CMA Awards for us to be on board with Chris Stapleton. But maybe it's taken some of these radio programmers from around the country to get on board with Chris Stapleton. Country Air Check is an airplay chart, and it also comes with little news items. I get this once a week in my email. And I've got some reaction from some country radio programmers from some really big markets about Chris Stapleton. And fair or not, I read between the lines.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention names, but one programmer from Boston radio station said a lot of us enjoyed seeing Chris Stapleton being recognized because over the years we've watched his writing create huge hits. The buzz around him will encourage radio to listen more carefully to every song he writes, whether he sings it or another artist cuts it. He was clearly humbled by his awards, and you can't help but want him to have chart success. Whether he sings it or someone else sings it.
This is what I don't understand about these people who basically create the charts. Okay, these huge markets, that's who dictates who does well in the charts, okay?
154 radio stations, the top 154 markets, they create the Billboard Country Singles Chart, and that's what everybody goes by.
Right, but here's what I don't understand. Like, good music is good music.
Right.
We play so much stuff that's crap because we have to, because these big markets play it over and over and over again. I don't know why they feel like they have to do that. When you have someone like Chris Stapleton, you play the dang songs.
Here's something else. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And the way he said it, they'll pay attention to the songs he writes, whether he records them or someone else does. I don't know. I just like, we don't necessarily have to play Chris Stapleton. He just needs to keep writing. Another programmer from Seattle says, if that's what it takes to push radio into giving him a chance, good on him. He's talking about the Stapleton Timberlake performance. Our socials were full of people loving the performance, but wondering who Chris Stapleton is. We have to remember that his awards were given by his peers, not the audience. And as we know, with shows like the Oscars, there are times awards are given to less mainstream or less familiar performers. I agree that Chris is somewhat niche, but is he too far in one direction or another? But if he's good and if he sells...
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? First of all, the fact that it's given to him by his peers should tell you something. Because if a musician thinks someone is great, maybe you should, listen.
It's not just his peers either. Radio programmers are part of the Country Music Association. In Memphis, a programmer says, as for me, I don't base my music decisions on who wins awards or not. Stapleton deserves a better look if consumers respond and the market demands it. Where does he fit into the current landscape of radio?
Okay, here's the thing, too. There are a lot of artists that do well because of their social media following. I'm sorry, but Chris Stapleton is not the kind of guy who cares about that, and he shouldn't, because you know what he cares about? The quality of the music that he puts out. Isn't that just a crazy thought?
That's right. Programmer in Modesto, California is all on board. That's a more traditional market. That's Modesto, California. It's Northern California, and they're all over it. In Denver, a guy says, as to whether or not Stapleton will get more airplay moving forward, I have no idea. The criteria for radio success is so different from the industry-voted criteria of the CMA Awards, but reaching that big an audience is always great for any artist. And then a guy from Dallas. Dallas is going to play him. Dallas will play that sort of thing.
You know who else is going to play him? Owensboro.
That's right.
We've been playing it.
Guys, there are hundreds upon hundreds of smaller market stations like ours that could play Chris Stapleton till the cows come home, but it won't show up. It won't make a dent on the Billboard Country Singles Chart, that are made up by larger markets, that are made up by audiences who may not go back that far in their country music tastes. But Chris Stapleton is now, today, he's just a traditional country artist, and he deserves airplay.
He also has the #1 record in the country.
Oh, that too.